So now they're saying I'm in trouble with the government. I'm loving it.
Surprise, surprise, brother. These people weren't expecting this. We're live and in person.
What is going on, guys? I hope you all having a beautiful, wonderful Saturday afternoon. I'm over here with Mr. Diaz and our special guest, Tara. This is your
Hi,
podcast,
everybody.
Entre Amigos
Why are you, Tara?
podcast. Hope you guys enjoy the show. We have a great show for you guys today. What's going on, Mr. Diaz?
Chilling, man. And we had to catch people by surprise today, man, because there's a lot of shit going on, bro. And we got to blow off some steam, man. Yeah?
That's so true.
Well, this is what the show's all about today.
Mhm.
It was going to be a
on, Tara?
pre-recording. It was going to be a pre-recording, man, but we need people's opinions.
We're like, we
thoughts,
got to do
man.
this, right?
We need prayers. I mean, we need everything right now, bro.
So we have a special
think?
guest, Tara. Tara, how you doing?
Good. I'm great, Elmer. Thanks for catching up with me. And I know we've been in touch recently about the recent goings on with immigration and stuff, but really happy to join you guys tonight. It's good to meet
Well,
you.
thank you.
you.
Thank you for joining us. We are definitely very happy to have you here. We're definitely looking for a great show. But as every time we go off live, we ask, how was your day, Mr. Diaz? How's the week?
It was good, man. I was celebrating my grandson's second birthday. We had pizza last night, and we had museum earlier today. So yeah, it's been a journey for this little young man. I call him my little matzo ball, little chunky little thing. His journey, from when he was born till now has been amazing. So, we're just grateful that, he is where he's at right now and still growing, getting healthier, and, God bless. So, but my weekend's pretty much, birthday weekend,
Nice.
for little Jackson, little Jackson Diaz Devaney. Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
good, man. How is Stephanie doing, bro?
She's doing good, man. She's been working, also, happy with the grandson and all that stuff, So, but yeah, we're all good, man. Thank God. Cold front is leaving a little bit. It's been a little, we were talking about that off air, the cold fronts and all that stuff, but it's getting back to normal, so to speak.
I know. Did you I don't know how far south did it go, but what was it last week that it snowed
We didn't get
in
snow.
Florida? You didn't get snow.
No.
Yeah.
It was in the border of, I think, Georgia, maybe Alabama, that all the way up there, like Pensacola, the
Yeah.
New Orleans, the 10 West corridor,
Well,
Up
I
there.
saw a sign where it said Florida and there was snow over there.
Yeah, it is. Technically, it is Florida, but yeah. But we didn't see no snow, man. It did get cold, and I had to sit in the car for a little bit to defrost the windshield. Believe it or not.
Now, were
Yeah.
you scared?
No, because I grew up in this stuff. Now, if I did it, I would have probably been like, "Oh, yeah, what the hell's going on, man?" Something's happening.
I know there was a state in the south that they got a lot of snow and they had no plows, they had nothing.
I think
don't
I
remember.
think that was like New Orleans, if I'm not mistaken.
And they actually had to
Got hit.
get help from like a state next to them to come and
Neighboring
rescue
state.
them. But
Wow.
yeah, that's it's pretty crazy. But whenever we see snow south and places like that doesn't snow and
Mhm.
I just laugh. I'm like, look at these fools.
Yeah.
They can't even.
I always tell
them.
them. I just
They
always
get
tell
like
them,
2-3
listen,
inches of snow. They like going
Yeah.
place to place.
yes, I always tell them, listen, if you're gonna prep for this stuff, remember, 10 feet from the curb. Give yourself some space. Give yourself, you don't want all
Only like a
that.
true New Englander.
You don't want all that work getting right back onto the curb.
No,
man.
Go get your
No,
recipe.
you know what happened? We talked about this last time, right? So when you shovel your driveway, right? You get it nice and clean. Next thing you know, you have a plow that's coming on your side of the driveway, and as soon as you're done cleaning, they come in, woo, they throw all the snow para el mismo medio ahí y te bloquean otra vez. So they go show you how it works. So
You gotta start all over again.
We
Yeah,
That's
I'm
okay. I
good.
don't do the shoveling of my driveway. And if there's a
Good.
little bump, I just kind of gear up the Toyota to go right over it.
Momentum. Woo.
Yeah. I try my best.
Yeah.
You like pick up speed. No, you know when you
Right.
get stuck, you go like this. So
Yeah.
you think
Listen,
it's gonna
those
get-
snow's
Toyotas
still
pack
fluffy.
a lot of
We can make
power.
it.
What do you drive? What kind of Toyota you drive?
I drive a Camry. Tried and
Camry?
true.
Wow.
Those are good on the snow.
Oh
They
yeah,
are,
they're great.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I like about the Toyotas? They came out with the Camry came out with the all-wheel drive, the model.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
So the Toyotas were always known, you know, like front wheels. They're good on the snow, but they I think in 2020, 21,
Okay.
22, they came out with like all-wheel drive. So now you have
My
now,
Camry,
now you can get them.
my Camry's an OG body. It's 2015 and still going strong. Every 2 years I get that inspection sticker. I'm like, okay, baby, we got 2 more years. Let's go.
Toyota will always pass with flying colors. man.
Yes.
Yeah, those are good, dependable cars.
Mm.
Mhm.
You know.
That's
So
awesome.
Tara, it's been a while since I
Summer.
actually seen
Thank
you.
you. Right.
You still go to Cecilia's?
Oh, of course. That's my spot. So Elmer and I know each other because I like pizza. And I typically, when I was in college and kind of growing up in my 20s, I lived in that area with my cousins and then by myself, and then ended up moving out. But still, I'm close enough that Cecilia's can still deliver to me now in Cranston.
Hey, they're going all over the place now.
Yeah.
They go to Johnston, things we
Mhm.
never did before. You know,
Really?
Before we used to stay like in the borderline, you know, borderline North
Mhm.
Providence, borderline East no wait, I think we did
North
used to go to
Providence was
East
in North
Providence. North Providence we went.
Providence.
I think so. We didn't go like places like Johnston.
Mhm.
We didn't go to we never went to Pawtucket. Yeah,
No.
so it was like probably like the surrounding areas of like Providence, you know, but now they go all over the place.
Oh yeah.
You know, they
Mhm.
go to East Providence, they go to Pawtucket, they go to Johnston and stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of they're doing a lot of things that I wish they did when I was there, but you know,
I know.
I guess they gotta adjust because a lot of pizza joints like in the city were delivering to, you know, further places.
Yeah.
Bro, Jose, there's this pizza joint, right? It's on
Mm.
Atwells too. I'm not gonna say the name, but they go everywhere. And when I tell you they go to everywhere, they go everywhere, bro. They go to far as like
Boston.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I would not eat that.
But I was talking about that because they go
They're making it on the way
they go
over.
places to like
Gotcha, buddy.
Westerly.
Gotcha.
They come to like where I live, you know, like my area, and I'm like 20 minutes from Providence, bro. And you see them here. I mean, I don't think I would like to order, you know, a burger
Really?
and fries or a pizza from a place. By the time it gets to me, that thing's gonna be, you know, ice
For
cold.
sure.
But you know,
Cheese is all hard. Nah, I'm good, man. You keep-
so yeah, they had to, you know, they had to adjust to, you know, with the competition. So that's what they're doing now. So
Wait till them tariffs hit. They ain't gonna be traveling everywhere, buddy.
oh, well, supposedly we're gonna get the gas is gonna go up. So you know, welcome to
Yes,
2025.
Yeah, man. I think Canada already got hit with tariffs, and Mexico. I mean, they're getting hit. They're starting to get hit.
Well,
We'll see what happens.
Well, no, today actually, yeah. I think he made it official yesterday. Today he signed the executive order,
Yes. Yeah.
giving Mexico 25% increased tariffs, Canada 25%, and China. I don't understand why China only got 10% though. I mean, this whole past year, right? It was a war against China, right? Oh,
Mhm.
China this, China that, and they only get 10%. I don't get that. I don't have any information about why is it only 10%, and then your two neighbors get 25% each. I don't get that.
Crazy.
But, you know, do you know anything about that, Tara? What are your thoughts?
I think he's I don't know that there's rhyme or reason except economic interest for Trump is higher in China. And here to his neighbors, he's using tariffs as a bullying strategy. If you
Mhm.
follow Colombia and what happened last weekend, the border czar had to get involved to negotiate, what would happen because the president of Colombia wasn't taking military planes flying in with deportees, and the president said, we're going to hit you with more tariffs, and then they argued back and forth, and the border czar was like, we got to do something. So long story short, guess what? They're taking the military planes and taking the deportees back in Colombia. So I think it has to do a lot with that. Also, Canada and Mexico historically have been, this part to the North American Free Trade Agreement, with which Trump absolutely abhors and got rid of and renamed. So more to come on that. I don't want to speak as an expert on it, but I feel like you're right. It's not neighborly at all. I also think it's a way that he's flexing muscle. With him, I think there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. There's a lot of agendas pushing him. These are not all his original ideas, for sure.
No, I don't.
No.
think
He's just the face of a lot of other agendas.
Oh yeah. He's he's just being manipulated a lot by behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like you said, I don't know what the agenda is, but it's not making sense. Hopefully it does somehow.
I don't know. Project 2025 has been in the works since the Reagan administration, pre-Reagan administration. If you ever get a chance to see Bad Faith on Netflix, I think I saw it, or Apple TV, it's definitely worth a watch to see how the Republican Party has shifted under this Heritage Foundation and Project 2025. And really, it's all a ploy to keep white supremacy intact. So
crazy.
So I was looking at something the other day, and I was looking at the census, right? And now that you talk about white supremacists and all that stuff, so I do agree with you that this is not just Trump's idea. Trump is just the guy that they put in front. Someone maybe in a way they can manipulate. Or he was probably the right guy because how he speaks, how he directs towards people. He was the right guy to put in front, but behind there's a lot of like masterminds. And I think one of the guys that has a big saying is this guy, Stephen Miller, with everything that's what's going on. Also the Heritage Foundation too. But I was looking at the census, and by 2040, 2050, 2060, people of color and Hispanics, they're supposed to we're no longer going to be a minority in the United States. You know? So I think that the whole idea of everything that's happening right now is trying to cut as much ties as you can with the people of color, which are like Hispanics and other races that have the potential or overpopulate the United States. Go ahead, Tana. Yeah.
No. I'm just agreeing with
okay. So
yeah.
So that's why if you look up at the census, right, for the populations in the United States, the Hispanics are going to be in one of the biggest fast growing, and I mean it is true to that because the population, because Hispanics, we tend to have big families, we tend to have 3, 4, 5 kids, and meanwhile other races are only having 1 kid or 2 kids, so they don't want to, I feel like they don't want to lose that power or that control that they have. So it's very deep, but unfortunately, everything that's happening right now, it's very controversial. It's very sad. How things are developing, a lot of good people are paying the consequences because of other people's
Yeah.
decisions. A lot of great families are being broken apart
Mhm.
because of what's happening now. So
For
it's
sure.
definitely pretty sad. And I mean, there's so much to talk about this that it's, we could be here for hours. And
Mhm.
also, one of the things that I was telling you guys offline too was that a lot of people have a misinterpretation of what's happening, that they have been fed an idea and they believe that that idea is the right thing, and they're not opening their minds to hear other people's perspective or other people's ideas or other people information about what is happening right now really means. So hopefully we can talk, develop this topic today, and kind of like, I don't want to say educate, but I'm going to say educate people
Inform.
more about, inform people about what illegal immigration does to this country. How, if it's good, if it's not good. Not everyone that they're saying that is a criminal is a criminal.
Right.
Yeah.
There's fathers, there's coaches, there's teachers, there's
Yeah.
Hmm.
doctors, there's
La
there's
mayoría.
bishops, there's everything.
Hmm.
Largely.
And yes, they
Right.
are bad people too,
Mhm.
because you're always going to find a bad apple, but it's not like that. So
No.
we want to make sure we get this through our listeners today. But
Yeah.
I'll let you guys talk.
That's perfect. One thing you mentioned about people aren't hearing, people aren't seeing. I think we've turned a point where the 50-50 split in the United States is very clear. And I think that now, I'm going to assume you and your listeners are on the pro immigration side. And if they're not, well, I hope they get an idea from us today. But um,
Hmm.
those of us pro immigration and supporting these families just need to focus on each other and who's listening and who's acting,
Hmm.
um, and not trying to put a bunch of our efforts into pulling people in that have been, I'm going to say it, brainwashed by any institution they belong to that promotes this anti-immigration agenda. um, because with us we are still 50% or more,
Hmm.
in this country, who are large in number and still can make a difference regardless of who's in the presidency. We can still make a difference.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely, man. I agree on both. With the whole roundup. We call them roundups in
Yeah.
law enforcement.
Hmm.
But I do agree that those who should be gone should be gone. Criminals, rapists, all that other stuff. All these good people, man. Why? Why even
Well,
bother? And then here's the thing. Then you have those who did their time. They were probably gang members back then, or
yep.
they were just living a different life when they were young.
Hmm.
But now they've turned around. They've
Hmm.
built families, businesses. You know what I mean? Just I just don't understand. Why you have to announce it one way and
Yeah.
then just attack the overall
Population.
population. I just don't understand that. And coming from the guy's mouth, the director of the INS thing,
Yeah.
um, if they're there and we're here to pick up a criminal, you're going collateral damage. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's just
Yep.
wrong.
I know.
You know
It's
what I
very
mean?
wrong.
You need. I mean, this country. Let's from the very beginning, we know this history. It was born on immigration.
Hmm.
They came over, right? Everybody came over, but the country was built. The Polish, the Greeks, the Italians. They built bridges, churches. I mean, everybody different cultures, and as time went on, then more diversity started coming in with the Spanish and yada yada yada. You know what I mean? But that's how the country was built, man.
Well,
Diversity,
and,
culture.
yep. And I would also add to that, we can't forget or be keep this conversation separate from Black Americans,
Yeah.
because if you really talk about the roots of how, first of all,
Hmm.
indigenous populations were already here. We're a very young
Yes.
country. right?
Yes.
So I would venture to say that it probably would have spinned off a lot different had people not come
Yes.
over to colonize.
Yes.
From there, forced slavery of people from Africa down the
Mhm.
whole continent of the Americas, the Caribbean,
Mhm.
all that. That was what that early history in our young nation was built on, the backs of those people
Mhm.
and the people who remain. And so,
Mhm.
and you look at, when you talk about Latinx, regardless of status, you have to also remember that there are Black roots in most Latino countries,
Mhm.
Latinx
Mhm.
populations, territories. If you look at any
Yes.
East Coast of
Mhm.
from the United States down to Brazil,
Mhm.
even on the border of the eastern border of for example, Guatemala, Elmer, you know, who do you have over there? Not Gariba,
Belize.
that's Honduras.
And
Who's over there?
well, you got Honduras. I mean, do you mean like country-wise? Like,
No,
Control.
oh, that, oh,
folks that have
oh,
the
yeah,
African.
in Puerto Barrio, la gente there. I actually share a video like that. You would think that you're somewhere in Africa and they're
Yeah,
Guatemalans.
yeah,
You know, their
exactly. And if
music
you
is the
look at
same thing. Yeah, and they're 100%
Mhm,
Guatemalans, but
Mhm.
they're they have like they look like they're from Africa, and like I said,
Mhm.
yeah, and if you look down the whole eastern seaboard of the Americas, you can find spots
Yeah.
where that's the case.
Mhm.
Obviously, we've grown and we've
Yeah.
gone west and stuff,
Evolved.
but
Mhm.
I like that you're talking about the history though of this country, because so many answers as to why this is happening is tied in the way
Mhm.
this land was colonized.
This
And
is
look at
it's
who's in
insane.
power and who wants to keep being in power. You
Yeah.
know,
It's insane.
yeah.
It's
And
it's
so then,
insane. It's
and
sad. It's disappointing. I mean, it's your emotions go everywhere, man. Especially when you start seeing what happened the first time. When they were separating these families and these kids, and they were showing us videos, and the media can spin it, left or right. But let's be real. When you're showing videos of kids, I don't care how you're spinning it. It's going to be heartbreaking.
Yeah.
When you got these 5-year-olds, 3-year-olds, even infants at some points being separated from their parents, moms and dads, and then lost. They some of them weren't even reunited with them, and it wasn't until people were starting like really make some noise to say, hey, listen, man, we can't be doing this. This is insane. We putting these kids in cages and giving them heat blankets, and I mean, it was just sad. It was just sad. And then to see that, maybe I'm not gonna speak ahead of myself, but potentially happen again. I mean, it's heartbreaking. Anybody with any kid in this world, man, will see that heartbreaking. You know, how are they gonna handle it? With people coming in or getting deported, and I mean, I don't know. But I do remember. What was it, in Fall River? What was it, like 2016? No, 2007. I think it was. They
Mhm.
went into that mill and they raided the mill, and these daycares were calling their parents.
their parents.
They were like, "Hey, where's It was 2007. Hey, where INS came and took everybody.
Oh,
You
and
remember
that's
that?
the real deal. Like anyone who's a
Yeah.
parent or loves a child, or
Yes.
it, I don't. So here's the thing: if we liken it to what folks experienced during the Holocaust, the early days of the Holocaust
Hmm.
was mass
Hmm.
deportation.
Yes.
Mhm.
If
Yes.
we could connect our minds and our hearts to that this
Hmm.
stuff is replicating it, like the
Hmm.
human mind recreates all of this, right?
Yeah.
So
What I think, I'm sorry. What stops it from being a repeat in history of what you're talking about now is the fact that we have some type of democracy. I think that because we have laws that are still in place, we have judges that still sympathize, we still have people that fight, is the only reason why we're not repeating this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's sad to say to even mention it again, because even back then that was just horrible. Even reading about it, it's sad.
Yeah.
It breaks your heart.
Right.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I
I think my call to action for people these days, feeling this weight on them and empathizing, but not knowing where to start, is first of all, if nothing else, don't be complicit. Don't do nothing. If it's talking to people to understand it more, if it's like telling people, because I'm going to tell you, probably people are scared. Migrant workers, more than 50% aren't showing up to work now in the Southwest, West, out that way. They're scared, and they need helping hands to explain that they still have rights in this country, that their children need to hear that they are not criminals because of their status or color of their skin. They need to know that if ICE knocks on their door, they're not obligated to open the door. If they come to your work, they need a warrant. They need
schools. Remember in Chicago last week?
Right.
In Chicago, INS showed up in some school trying to get information on some of these kids' parents. And so, thankfully, man, the superintendent was like, "Oh, hell no, you ain't doing this shit."
Right. I mean, even simple things. If you're a bus driver and ICE is and you're dropping kids off at their bus stops and ICE is there, keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
I can't.
This is so great information that people need to hear.
Right. And then, there's always a safety net. So link up with the safe people. They could be quietly safe. They could be out there advocating, but link up with safe people. That's like,
it's just sad that we even gotta, talk about
worry about it. I know.
It's horrible.
I think
now the Guantanamo. I'm sorry, the Guantanamo Bay thing. You know how many they can hold over there, right?
30,000.
30,000.
Yeah, that's what
30
saying.
That's the capacity. Yes.
Right.
Anybody and me working in that background, I could tell you this.
What did you do? Can I ask? Because we're just meeting for all the viewers that might know you already. So what did you do?
I'm not going to get into detail, but I'm in law enforcement.
My partner
I started my career. Yeah, I started my career in corrections.
Okay. So did
I do have I do have some knowledge in immigration and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm just interested because my partner is law enforcement background. Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So let me tell you this: we have a hard time hiring people in these fields. Never mind to keep control of 30,000 people.
Oh, that's a really good point. That's a really good point.
And then we're going to use our military resources for something that, I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. We're complaining about this or that, and when I say we, it's the government or whatever. But you want to use 30,000 beds or whatever. We have a hard time controlling sometimes 900.
No kidding.
900 is you got your county jails and whatnot. I don't know how many Cranston holds. I don't know, it's like 2,000 maybe. I'm not sure, but you have a hard time, trying to keep that under control. Can you imagine 30,000?
Come on, and the resource. I get you. The resources it takes to recruit, get
my Lord,
and even
it's insane.
Right, the incarceration, and as much as it becomes, who knows, privatized versus owned by what government?
Well, that's where I think it'll go, and then now if we go into that, now that's another, that's a conspiracy theory on its own. I mean, let's just it's just facts, because you're talking about Pelican Bay in California. I think 5,000, maybe 3,500. And look at all the crap they go through, and they're not even, in capacity as far as staffing,
Well, look at the egregious things that are happening right in Pawtucket, Rhode Island at Wyatt. Wyatt
Yes.
Detention Center.
Yeah, Central Falls. Yep.
Sorry, Pawtucket Central Falls area. Yeah. So,
Yep.
you know, it's inhumane what's going on. It's all wrapped up in INS, as far as I know. And so right. But this is another thing. Strong arming large groups of people goes back to colonization
All day.
and
All day.
it's like there's no new idea here, right? Like so what do we do? That's what I keep pushing myself to think about. What do I do to help in this society that I really don't want to see myself and my kids in, or my friends or family? One good piece of information, if you're dedicated to one or two topics, that will keep you sustained rather than being like doom scrolling all the news and focusing on every single thing, because you still need your strength at the end of the day as an advocate. So certainly, as you can tell, this is the immigration piece is one of my top 2 or 3. As is women's rights, and that's where I need to keep my strength and energy going. So that's one way. But again, education, conversations like this, teaching people their rights who may not have access to that pamphlet or might not have access to that red card. When ICE appears, what can you do? Kind of stuff like that.
I think that everyone that can have had that, everyone that has a stage, or even if you don't have a stage too, and there's something that you can do, like Tara said, you know, to help people that don't have a voice, do it. Do it. You know, if you can get together with someone that does community service that helps people that don't have a voice, get together with them, help them out, you know, give them ideas, share your ideas. If you don't want to participate and you think you have a great idea, share that idea or how you can help these people, you know, don't become victims of what's happening now. Because I'm telling you, it is a tragedy, you know, it's very bad and it's very sad. So we need more people like you, Tara, you know, that can help all these people that,
Tara
you
for
know,
president.
No, what did I say that one?
Like you're here in the state of Rhode Island, you know, and you know, I'm sure there's, you know, you're a very powerful woman, so there's a lot you can do, and this, you know, with, you know, the red cars and all that stuff that you talked about, what me and you talked about, you know, giving them away and stuff like that. So yeah, we need more people like you with powerful voices.
So I will say too, I you know, and I'm just trying to share for those folks who do want to take action, who don't know, find your niche. Like, just I don't know if you've learned this in church or learned this in your job or like professionally, where are your talents in this, right? And just move in that talent. So you got money, give money. If you've got time, give acts of mercy. Like, if you've got a voice, talk to the community. You know, if you want to be a shelter for people physically, be quiet. You know, but
you know,
do what
it's
you're
crazy that we even have to say this. I'm just like, so
do what you can do, you know. And if you're passing out red cards, you know, don't make it obvious. Don't go out in like a huge group. Separate out. Talk one-on-one or two-on-one with business owners. See if they want to keep the red cards for their clientele in certain places.
Now, can you explain the red card thing?
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
unfamiliar with this.
The red card is something you can. It's a laminated tarjeta that is in English, Spanish. There's like English and a bunch of other languages. So we're getting like 1,000 bilingual cards to start with in English and Spanish, let's say. And so that tells you your rights in English and Spanish if you encounter ICE at home, in your community, or at your job. And so getting that material out in a way that's not raising a flag to, you know, being kind of not on the L, but respectfully quiet, passing that stuff out, and where you know that people are frequenting. I mean, if you think about laundromats, money cashing places like Western Union, MoneyGram places, like the restaurants that folks go to and own. You can name a bunch right here in Cranston Providence line and Pawtucket Central Falls.
Those workforce places too, right? Like those day
For
job.
sure. And which, I want to say, it's really funny how, you're talking about the portrayal of media on people who, whatever their immigration status is, but that are categorized as immigrants. Oh, they take from us, they're this, they're that, the other. But the only place, they're only aiming for like going to a whole mill to take people out, and it's just like, wow, you're taking hardworking people away from jobs that, by the way, people aren't doing. And that's why, like you were saying earlier, doesn't make sense, some of these things, like the tariffs on our borders. And it also doesn't make sense if you're going to try to clean out what they're saying to do, like clean people and put them somewhere else, whether it be Guantanamo Bay, whether it be their own countries or what have you. Where is the infrastructure of our whole country going? Hotels,
Going to hell in the handbasket.
Federal Hill. I mean, not for nothing. The guys making Italian
it's going to hell.
Hill are not Italian, and you know what I'm saying? Like, so there goes your place to hang out, people. Talking from a very superficial point of view, but for real, like, what do they think is going to happen? Construction, asbestos removal, lead removal, even larger jobs like airport jobs and stuff subbed out.
So you're saying the jobs that United States citizens do not want to do.
They don't want to do. And these guys are working. Elmer, am I wrong?
No,
you are 100%.
You
I have
100% right.
Listen,
who's fixing my car? Come on.
Listen, I got to tell you that. I mean, I have so much to talk about that because there's when it comes to like illegal immigration,
I mean,
there's I feel like a lot of people, maybe 75-80% of people that are born here in the United States does not understand how it works. Because I have had experience where I stop and I talk to some of them, and they have the completely opposite idea of what it is, and let's be honest, there's a lot of work that like Mr. Diaz said a little minute ago, that people that are born here in the United States will not do. They will not do. And then you have, people that come here to this country to better their lives, help their family back home and do those hard labors. I mean, let's focus on Florida or in California, where you have all these guys picking up the strawberries, the oranges. You know what it is to be 10-12 hours like Asiaga Chao, and then just moving like that, so you can have some nice fruits in the supermarket, so you can have a great meal at night. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of I feel like there's no appreciation,
or
for
well manicured lawn, mine.
You see them as how they're making it seem now, like the person that it's working in a farm, it's a criminal. No, he's not. He's actually feeding you. The day that farm closes, you're gonna have less food in your table, or you're gonna pay more money at the supermarket because the farm that was giving work to all these illegal immigrants had it closed because they couldn't find anybody. It's a proven fact that people born here do not want to do those jobs. So why don't you appreciate what these people are doing? They're feeding
them alone.
They're feeding you, and same thing with like construction. They're the ones that are building your homes. You complain that there's no housing, that there's no houses being built. A lot of illegal immigrants are the ones building your houses. Same thing. You enjoy going out Friday night, Saturday nights to these fancy restaurants, and guess what? Who's cooking your meal in the kitchen? It's either a Guatemalan or a Mexican.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And here you are hating on them, and here you are talking crap about them and pointing them out as criminals while they're making the food you love to eat.
To put on your table so that they can put a bid on theirs.
Yeah, so you
Oh.
know, it's a back and forth thing. They
Mhm.
work in 80 hours. I worked in restaurants most of my life, and I seen a lot of people working 70, 80 hours, you
Mhm.
know, and they spend money here, they pay taxes, because a lot of people say,
Yep.
oh, they don't pay taxes out.
They pay taxes.
They pay taxes, and they never get that refund that you get
That's
every January, every February. Remember, you know how like Americans, right? They always like, oh yeah, I can't wait for income tax time, baby.
Yeah.
An immigrant doesn't have
Nope.
the right to do that.
And they don't. So
Mm-mm.
let's break it down for anyone listening as to why you can, with the IRS, legally file taxes regardless of your status through an ITIN. Okay,
IT. Yep.
ITIN, ETIN,
Mhm.
ITIN.
Yep.
So what Elmer you're saying is absolutely correct for folks that
Mhm.
don't know. Just because you're not documented from one bureau or department of the federal government does not mean that you cannot work with an ITIN number that's actually valid.
Mhm.
A lawyer help you set up or whatever,
Yeah.
and then pay taxes to the feds. And let's be honest, because those employers too, there's a big force in huelga, boycotting, and I would be really excited to see restaurant owners getting more organized around protecting their workers, or at least their business, where the money, like, let the money talk, right? Because these guys are paying sometimes under the table. If you work more than your 40 hours, you know that they're paying cash. You know what I'm saying? So they're cutting corners and getting away with being able to keep their businesses running when 1 out of 4 restaurants succeed. They should have a vested interest in organize as well. Restaurant owners,
Absolutely.
or their workers, to protect their workers, to protect their interests, to protect small business. That's where it's at.
Mhm.
Not at the top
Absolutely.
where we just keep signing executive orders and hope it trickles down and hurt people. Like,
No, absolutely. I agree with you, you know. So, like you said, I'm a big believer in boycotting too. You know, I think that when we, the people, get together, we can definitely make changes. I think there was a lot of people protesting all over the United States today in big cities. I think there was people in New York and Times Square. There was a lot of people in Texas and California. You know, they took out on the streets. Also, there's a no work, no school, no buy nothing on February 3rd, which is Monday.
oh,
You
great.
know,
Okay.
so if you guys want to support that, to everybody that's listening, don't buy, don't go to school, no work, all that stuff. You know, show them, make an impact.
I love that.
We got to work together. Definitely, we got to show that this country runs. Immigration. It's a stronghold of the country. And
Mhm.
without people that are being deported, a lot of things are not going to get done. So.
Mhm.
A point I want to make too, because there are a lot of us who come from a few generations out of immigration ourselves. And whether you're Irish or Italian, which my lineage are both, don't forget, folks, that we also have these without paper stories.
Mhm.
It's the reason why Italians were called WOPs, okay,
Mhm.
without papers. It's
Yeah.
the reason why Irish were not accepted into jobs very discriminatorily. And, the whole, after being a few generations in, I know a lot of folks, boomer generation and otherwise, will say, well, they worked hard, they assimilated, they this, they that, the other, as if other people are not. So first of all, there's one hypocrisy. Second of all, back then, it wasn't as hard to be a citizen. So what some Americans are missing, whose families have some of these same stories, is that back in the day, immigration was what it was. We were actually France commissioned the Statue of Liberty. Bring me your
Statue of Liberty.
tired, your poor, your whatever's. because we needed workers, right? Okay, so there was that. Then immigration kind of grew, border control grew, INS, like a lot of things happened that they keep trying to blame on people coming here. People don't realize that each country now, the United States puts quotas on how many people from each country they're going to let in based on its economic interest. Its economic interest used to be labor, bring everybody, right?
Yeah.
And then now it's like, no. Now it's a different thing. So just keep that in mind. Like a lot of people that are on the other side of this that are believing the Trump rhetoric or just for themselves being like, yeah, they're criminals, realize it's not a crime to be here without papers. It's civil. It's a civil matter. And number two, most of y'all have an immigration story. If you're not indigenous or have been forced here somewhere down the line, and that too is a story, but most people chose to come here after colonization. So the hypocrisy is astounding to me. Anyway, I'll go. I should
Big
go.
time.
It's crazy, yeah, that you said that because every whether you're Irish, Italian, Polish, Russian, whatever you came here looking for your great grandfather or whoever it was came here either escaping persecution or wanting a better life a better life for him and his family. So
and that used to be enough.
Yeah. So, this is the same thing that everyone's doing. When we came here with, my mom in 1989, we came here for a better life. Earlier you mentioned about the war in Guatemala in the 1970s, 1980s. My dad was killed during that war. That's one of the reasons why I don't have a father is because he was killed during that war, So we escaped there to come here for a better life. Does that make me a criminal?
Nope.
It didn't make you a criminal because, you came from Europe. So why do we have double standards? Oh, yeah, you're a criminal. We're not. I mean, yeah, you guys came, many generations ago, but like you said, you have a story where you immigrated to this country. And before I forget, and this is another thing that triggers me, that a lot of Hispanics that either recently got their papers or been, I don't know, residents or citizens for one generation or two generations, they're actually against the immigration when one day themselves were immigrants, when one day they crossed the border, for a better life. And now that they're all set, they have turned against their fellow Latinos. You suck and you are disgusting for doing that.
Well spoken, buddy.
You are, because that is absolutely wrong. Eso hipócrita. That's horrible because just because you are all set, now you're going to talk bad about the people that are coming.
Those same people
and embarrassed to be.
Those same people should be educating the ones that don't know.
Yeah.
Those same people. They're the ones, hey, how'd you get there? You know what I mean? How'd you do it? Don't be selfish, teach somebody, man. It's like I'm with you, Elmer, man. That's why I'm just letting you guys talk, man, because
hay un dicho, que dice en español que no hay peor enemigo de un latino que otro latino. Jose, it's like you said, man, if within 10 years or 20 years that you've been here and you became an American citizen and your life got better, help your brother.
That's
like
it.
You said, teach him how to do it. How did you do it? You think that they're, in a low class and you consider yourself a middle class or high class. Well, do what you did and grab everything and show him, put him at your level. That's what a good person does. That's what a kind person does. An evil person steps on the other person. And that's what a lot of Latinos are doing nowadays.
That's crazy, man.
Oh my God.
That's it's really, and that's what they want the institution that we're talking about wants to call politely assimilation, but really it's turning people against each other,
against each other.
Yeah.
which is another form of coercive power.
Mhm.
Yes.
If you can turn each other against each other, whether it be a poor white person against a poor black person,
Mhm.
you know, any, like you're talking about, Elmer,
Mhm.
like Latino against a Latino, there's going to be media outlets for that stuff, and people who are willing to comply to that will do it to their fellow brother. And I agree with you. I think it's horrible, but I also think, and I also think that other folks that might not be in that hypocrisy, like myself, white people, white women, white men, white anybody, really need to put ourselves in check,
Mhm.
because everybody has something that they can do.
Yeah, of course.
Exactly.
Not to, it's a choice. And in this day and age, if you're choosing not to see the human aspect of all of this as a white person, you're complicit, and you're okay with the way things
Mhm.
got something to you got something to gain.
Yeah, it's horrible. I saw this someone made this quote the other day, and it said, so let me get this straight. You love our food, you love our culture, you love our music, you love to visit our countries,
You
Mhm.
love our women.
you love our women, but
You
you
love our
hate us.
men.
But you hate us.
I
You
love
see
that.
what I'm saying? So yeah,
So sorry.
go a Friday night or a Saturday night,
Yeah.
to a Mexican restaurant.
Hmm.
See, you love our food, you love our culture,
Hmm.
but you hate us.
Hmm.
That is double standards.
Really double. I mean,
Hipocresía.
Trump himself with all the hotels. Come on, come on. When you gonna have ICE knock on there? I'm sure that's not gonna happen.
Nah. It sucks, man.
So
And it's sad that we even, we even got to, have this as a topic, because you would think that, you know, we have evolved and gotten past this, through generations and,
exactly. That I think we get desensitized sometimes looking at other things
Mhm.
that are going on in the world and disasters and stuff. It's starting to hit home for more than just the people it's
Mhm.
targeted to, number one. And I also think that if people can remain comfortable, they will,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Mhm.
It's sad. We definitely need people taking action, resisting. Even rest is resistance, I read.
Mhm.
Even rest, like
Yeah.
turn your Facebook off for a day or two. That's what I do sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, like it's good to educate, but sometimes it's saturation on both your readers and yourself.
Oh
So
yeah, you get frustrated. Just by reading some of this stuff, you get frustrated, and
I have to walk
you
away
you
sometimes
get,
from
yeah, you
reading
get
things.
angry,
I get
and
angry.
it's
Yeah.
just, it gets you out of character. So you're right.
Yeah.
You have to, separate yourself from social media, the news, just turn everything off and just, do something else, man.
family,
Go
you know,
churn some butter like my daughter does nowadays, man. She bought a little thing and she just does butter. You
that's
know what I mean? Yeah, she does. I was surprised. I was like, you made that? You make butter?
Is that
So
the
you know what I
little
mean?
one?
No, Nana, my
No, no.
oldest. Yeah, I was surprised when she pulled out the butter. I was like,
that's awesome.
yeah, you made that?
But
Trust me, I was surprised.
backyard next or like regrowing your lettuce.
Yeah, she's getting into that stuff.
I
So,
love Bro, you gotta in B's and C's in case you gotta do different kind of
yeah.
lifestyle.
Oh my Lord.
Hey, I know where to get my vegetables and my eggs, because I got one of my daughters.
Uh-huh.
she grows her vegetables.
She's good. See, you see what I mean?
She yeah, she has her eggs and all that stuff like that. So it's kind of nice, whenever they get into a hobby like that. So support her.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
you never know. Maybe
Oh,
we got
absolutely.
maybe you'll
Farmers markets.
you got
Yeah.
She makes ginger shots too. Those immune shots. I mean,
Oh,
she's like,
nice.
yeah. I'm like, what?
That's it. But honestly, this is where we're
Yeah.
giggling. But this is like your normal stuff you could do to take action and
Mhm.
support local
Yes.
businesses,
Yes.
support, farmers markets, get your goods somewhere local,
Mhm.
somewhere different than
Yeah.
certain superstores, That's
Yeah.
awesome. I didn't know
Those
your
blue box
daughter
spots.
grew vegetables and have chicken, so you're gonna have to
It
let me
does.
know where to get my eggs
Mm.
because $10 plus is not happening. And I can't have chickens because I have 2 German shepherds at home.
Hey, you
Oh,
see the
look,
comments
guys.
there?
This
Look
is
at the
actually her. Put it up, Diaz.
comments.
This is actually her right now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it's stuff like that, like you're saying, separating yourself from everything that's going on is getting crazy.
Mhm.
I mean, and just to shift topics a little bit is, you got planes flying out of the skies.
Whew.
I mean,
Oh, that's a hot
It's-
topic right there.
I mean,
Who's
you're
gonna
like,
speak to that first?
I have no idea. I'm just
I
like,
mean, I got a little bit of information of what's
Okay.
happening, but it seems like you
Which-
probably have a lot more. I know there was a lot of firing before, you
yeah, he's been,
there's
yeah, I
been
guess.
a purge left and right, and I think the FAA went through some type of purge too. So
Yeah,
Firing God knows who and this person and that person.
right.
I don't want to say, because I don't want to sound like the guy, right? That he
Mhm.
says, oh, it's common sense. This guy, flying that helicopter should have done this or done that. You don't even know what the hell
No,
he
you don't. You can't. They're probably the least to blame. Like
did. The least.
yeah.
So at the same time, I don't want to say it was because of those firings also. I think human error always will, it happens. Just the way it happened though, it's like, you're like, oof,
The way, and then also the proximity for the next event to follow
man.
in Philadelphia.
Mhm. Like back to back. Are you talking about?
It's just horrific coming into. And it's like again, desensitization. We see stuff falling out of skies on the media in other countries all the time, and
Yes.
we're like, oh, another bomb.
Brazil, not too long ago. Was it November? Was it or October of last year?
Mhm.
That plane that just came out of nowhere and just in Brazil somewhere and
Plummeted. And so
Yeah.
those things happen. However, it's not.
What's the
they're
cover
not
up?
common occurrences.
What's the cover up?
I don't know.
You know?
Elmer, honestly, I think that you have high stress jobs with less
Mhm.
people doing them. Just
Yeah.
like in corrections, I'm sure you saw. How much?
absolutely.
How effective do you feel in your job if you're the only one on a block when there should be 2? Let's say, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
or in
Mhm.
Chow, and like you're the only one there,
Mhm.
or you
Yeah.
have to do so much. You've done so much overtime that you can't possibly cover anything else.
Yeah.
So I think what Elmer is saying is spot on, and whoever they put in charge to speak to the media, I can't even remember his name right now. Felt like he Googled some terms, to be able to say some things. But
A word salad.
I was like, this is really
A little
gross.
olive oil on that word salad. Let's
But
make it a little tasteful.
and for whatever's going, I mean, think about it this way: Musk kind of has open air somehow with all this SpaceX stuff. Who knows?
Mhm.
And the
Who knows?
technology things that have been happening where his staff are going into different departments in
Mhm.
Washington and trying to take over systems and information from at the OMB. So, more to come on that. I mean, I can't venture to, I don't want to seem like a conspiracy theorist. I do have my own things in my mind,
But you can't avoid it.
It's not conspiracy. That's
It's just a thing.
it's conspiracy. It's not a theory of mine.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, you can't avoid these conversations because you start asking questions. How? Why? You know,
I mean, imagine sitting in Providence, Cranston, wherever you are in Florida, and boom, down comes a plane. And
you're churning butter. You're picking the eggs.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
you're planting seeds like Elmer's daughter. You know, boom, and then out of nowhere.
Yeah. No, this was, and I mean, it's tragic. It's tragic for the families. It's like, you know, where a lot of us are like worried about how the president responded, which was egregious, what we're learning about it. But think about, that's like 70 plus lives right there, deceased between those two incidences. Did you know that med plane was a Angel flight? A little girl.
It was a little girl that was it was a pediatric patient, right? And that Philly
just flight. had a life-saving treatment, and
really
was wow. And I believe they said she came in from Mexico with her mom to have it done.
Look at that.
And they were like 4 miles out from takeoff, and that happened. And so again, and then all these people from Boston and beyond on the skating team, the U.S. skating team. I just don't know that, and where they went down, Philadelphia, Ronald Reagan Airport. You just put the pieces together for yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Gives you a lot to think about.
An impact.
No, it's definitely been some crazy times. I'm telling you, this 2025 is kicking us in the ass. I'll tell you that. And sadly,
more to go, man.
We still have 11 more months to go until the next year and see what the next year brings. On this administration, we have another 4 years.
Which is crazy.
Which is crazy because this is just the beginning. So,
it's crazy, but it's unfortunate that this is what the people wanted.
That's
at the end of the day. At the end of the day,
not a large majority, I should say.
Yeah,
not just by enough. A lot.
Just enough.
Unfortunately, it was enough to get us where we are.
And I have a lot of friends, that I try not to mix politics with friendships and stuff, religion with friendships, and I want to know the person. I don't need to know your affiliation or whatever, because if that was the case, I won't have any friends. That's just facts. And they're entitled to their opinions and their choices, just like I am. And I always try to keep that separate as much as I can, because
how's that working for you?
It's working.
Okay.
It's working. Yeah, it's working because we have mutual respect, and as long as you put those boundaries forward and you let them know, hey, listen, I don't want to get into that. You stop it right there, because if you get involved in it, it's not going to go anywhere. It's just opinion versus opinion, and then you're just going to keep going back and forth. And remember, you got to see these people every day. Practically.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's tough. It's a tough line. It's a tough line to step out of comfort with the people that and love. It's a tough line to step out of comfort with places where you shop. And it's different I think it looks different for everybody. If you're part of a group that's been marginalized from all of these efforts, whether it's LGBT or, there's a multitude pretty much if you're not cisgender white male.
Yeah,
it's difficult to then feel the love from people who are actually behind this.
I know.
Engine. So yeah, I've definitely had to make some choices personally.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be, and will be, in like community with people that are like minded.
Yeah,
is where I'm at right now, because I have no tolerance for people who wouldn't accept me and my daughter and my sister and my nieces.
I try to talk about other stuff.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, family, the wife's career or the husband's career, or what's your kid up to now? You know what I mean? Because if you don't, it's sad to say, don't you'll go left, they'll go right, and
But the thing is, you already are.
you already are.
That's
But you just gotta.
yeah. I guess
And-
I don't disagree with you at all. I think that depending on where we're at is how we cope with
Yeah,
that. If
exactly.
again, if I'm in the LGBT community and people are outright anti whatever, I don't care
Yeah.
how long we've known each other or whatever.
Yeah.
We can't vibe. I'm fighting for certain groups.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I really loved what the what was she, Episcopalian? I think it was
the minister, she was
the
awesome.
minister?
Is awesome. Yeah,
that
the
speech
precept,
was
right?
it was gentle.
Boring. No.
It was
No, that's what they said. No,
oh, the president's face.
I
That
thought
was,
yeah, oh yeah.
I was like,
But I thought it was a strong
oh
message,
my
like
god,
yeah,
so gentle and soft spoken, but
it's
like
what's in the Bible.
It was
bro.
very heavy. It was
What it is.
very
Yep.
it was to the point, with a lot of facts, and I mean it was just beautiful, and that's what we should
That's
be
really
already.
good. I like that.
I'm-
I like that you tied that to what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's like we should already be past a bunch of stuff that we fought to get away from. We should already be, technology wise, we should already be way ahead of people. Diversity wise, we should already be leading. It's almost like we're regressing. It's insane.
For sure.
And the speech that she gave, I listened to the whole thing, and it was beautiful.
Mhm.
I enjoyed his face. Look at that one.
And the
Couldn't
whole
say
world
nothing. You had to
heard
sit
it.
there and listen.
Yeah.
A whole under 2-minute sermon right to the president. The whole
Right to the
world
point.
heard it.
Right to the
She
point.
is so brave, and
Mhm.
I really, that is the stuff that
That's
that
a perfect. That's
we
a
gotta
perfect
keep
word.
embodying
How to
that, like
describe
you
it.
said.
Brave.
Mhm,
I think
mhm,
that's perfect. Brave.
mhm,
Because everybody's scared of this guy for whatever reason.
mhm.
I mean, I get it. You got to respect the president and whatnot, but
But she was respectful. He's
very
like, she's not
respectful.
very good at her
She just
job.
stood
Get
for what-
out of here.
Yeah, she just
I
stood
get-
for what she believes is right, and she did the
Yes.
right thing.
Yes.
She
Yes.
wasn't offensive like they made it sound like.
Mm-mm.
Some people in social media or people that agree with the way he's doing things said that she should apologize, how dare
For what?
she be disrespectful for what she
For what?
said. So that's how they view it, but
But he's above the teachings of Jesus Christ. Like that's what they're trying. And it's interesting that he was saying himself that he was like sent by God, whatever, had all these
Yeah. Right.
God help me.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that you have church as a whole. I'm not going to get into which sectors
Mhm.
and all of that
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
supporting him. But again,
that's another topic that
That's another.
I will
watch Bad Faith.
I'm
You
so
have
mad.
to watch this Bad Faith documentary
yeah.
because the Heritage Foundation, I hope I get this right. Pretty much, if you had an institution back in the 70s, like a college,
Mhm.
that, like a Christian college or something, that didn't want to pay taxes, you had to integrate. You couldn't be segregated in any certain way. So that was the whole, and I'm not eloquent on this one, guys. You got to watch Bad Faith to get. But what they
Mhm.
did was they came up with this whole moral order and laced it through the Republican Party and focused on gleaning funds from evangelical leaders and other church leaders in the Midwest and across the country in their parishioners to be on the anti-abortion tip. So what we grew up as, probably all three of us, knowing the pro-life movement through all the churches,
Mhm.
lots of money went into that, lots of whatever and stuff. It was really all part from the Reagan administration on, that Heritage Foundation, what you're calling Project 2025 now. It definitely has to do with preserving white supremacy. I like that's you have to see it. Yeah, because
I gotta
I'm
watch
not
this now.
speaking eloquently on it, but
Yeah.
it's a whole ruse.
Well, since time immemorial, religion's always been a weapon. You know,
Mhm,
to,
yeah.
you know,
A lot of evil
put
has been done
fear,
in the name of
put
religion.
fear. You know, since way back when Catholicism. You know what I mean? You know,
Mhm.
when they went around selling a piece of paper for a quid, a penny. You know,
Mhm.
if you buy this, you'll go to heaven. You know what I mean? I
And
mean,
I
since
know
back then.
I've been in that vein most of my life. So when one way or form or another.
Yeah.
So I know, it's just the more I question things, the more I question every institution that tries
Mhm.
to lead by like a patriarchal kind of thing.
Mhm.
And it's really hard. What's that?
What I liked about Billy Graham back then, when he was around preaching, he filled stadiums. I mean, 30,000 people, 50,000, filled stadiums with one simple message: love. Jesus loves. Come to Jesus. He loves you. Come as you are. You know. And now it's funny how everything is just twisting it. God don't like this or God don't like that. Where does it say that? It says come as you are. And that's all he preached, and that's all he filled stadiums with, and people came forward. You know what I mean? If somehow they twisted it and they started using religion, again like it was way back when, um, to install fear in these lives and people to control somehow.
It's I would venture to say the institution in and of it, the global institution of a church, has
Mm,
precisely been
yeah.
perpetuated, been used again in wars, colonization from the
Mm,
beginning of time.
yeah.
These stories of a vengeful God, of right and wrong, and I'm not. I believe in God, so I'm not.
Hmm.
And I wouldn't
Yeah.
judge if you didn't. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But I feel that most of the
Elmer, do you believe in
institutions.
God?
Yeah, what I know he does.
Yeah.
I know Elmer does.
I know he does.
I'm just
Mhm.
losing my faith in church,
And that's it. It's the
but
institution I'm
not
talking about,
God.
not the
Yeah.
people.
The
It's the four
institution. Yeah.
walls.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
peddling, and speaking to congregations that may not educate themselves with anything else but the interpretation of the book they're holding in that church from
Yes.
the pastor
Yes.
they're hearing from. And
And
so
some of them don't even study. They just listen to whatever is being said, and they don't go back and study this stuff. Like, what is he saying? How is he coming up with this stuff? You know, how is he coming up with the sermon?
because you're
Do you
not
do you
supposed to be seditious. So to ask and question authority is
yeah.
completely the
Sounds
opposite of
familiar, huh?
what expected,
Roman
huh?
Catholicism back then in God knows when.
I grew
That's
up in the
exactly
Catholic
what
Church. Yeah.
that's exactly what they did. Control. Oh, I'll do the reading. Just listen.
Well, yeah. And I mean, think about it, during the inauguration, I thought about whether I would watch it or not, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be informed with every last word this person says. I was
Yeah.
writing notes, and I don't know if y'all caught that he wanted to bring back the 1798 or 89 Alien and Sedition Acts.
Oh
Are you
yeah.
kidding me?
Hmm.
If we're going
What?
that far back, give Mexico back half the country.
Hmm.
I mean, really?
Exactly.
Like, and so all of this, if you're even a citizen that
Yeah.
speaks out against your country, now the country, he's trying to say we're going back to that, where I could be punished too, or
Jesus, man.
sent back to where are they sending me
Uh,
back? You got to split me 6 ways to send me back to the different countries I may have come from.
Hmm.
And
uh,
so he's actually speaking about anti-sedition in the inauguration. that to me is very concerning. And then
Dangerous.
rebuffing an actual minister, an actual person who speaks on the love of Christ and humility and mercy towards every single
Mhm.
person you encounter, to rebuff that tells you right there where that is.
Yeah.
Anyone
Yeah,
in church, I implore you to look through that, please.
Oh Jesus!
Listen to her.
No pun intended.
I know that was a
Listen
good
to
one, though.
her. I'm telling you, that gives me a headache. I am
Poor
so
Elmer,
mad.
he didn't expect it.
yeah, yeah.
No,
No, but you know,
because it's true though.
it's all in one thing. It's all one. It's everything that's going on. It's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So you can't avoid this topic or that topic. You know, you can't avoid the racism, the religion. You can't avoid conspiracy theories. You can't, because it's all one thing.
Mhm.
You know, yeah, it's amazing of what you're seeing now, and going back to what you're saying about. Listen, man, take a day, take a break.
Yeah.
Leave TikTok alone. I know they took it away for a couple of days. You know, they took TikTok away, but just leave it alone for a little bit. You know, leave Facebook alone. You know, like and subscribe us though. But but at least take a break from these things and you know separate, clear your mind. You know, because you know what they say. You know, you can't make decisions. You know, with a foggy mind and or you're when you're mad. You know what I mean?
And they want us broken down. Fascism is meant to break
Mhm.
down. That's why we're
Mhm.
getting so many conflicting media news, like faster than we can absorb it.
Absorb
So
it, yeah.
stay strong, take your rest. That's part of the resistance.
Yeah,
Absolutely agree with you.
Yeah.
absolutely, man. I mean,
Um,
it's
as you
insane.
guys talk, a thought came to my head, and it's something about you, what you said, Tara, a little earlier about giving someone protection, like harboring them, you know, if they're in dangers. Just to remind you guys that that's what a lot of people that were against, you know, Hitler and his people, they gave people comfort and they protected them. So if you
Yeah.
ever feel that you need to protect someone or harbor someone at your home or either way, just think that we are literally living those moments that the Jewish people lived when they were being persecuted,
Good
because
point.
that's exactly what they did. There was a lot
Mhm.
of people that was protecting the Jews from, you know, being taken away into
Mhm.
concentration camps.
Little Anne Frank
So
was a child writing her diary from an attic where she was hidden. And I'm
mhm,
not telling everybody to be a hero. I'm not proposing it one way or another, but if actually providing shelter for folks, even if it's boarding and rent, making some space in your house, if that's what you're called to do, you got to be
mhm,
about it for your own sake, for your family's sake, because even on this platform, if that Meta, you know, has us talking about now, but you're right. There are going to be people who need shelter. There are people
Mhm.
in the global, like even outside of the immigration issue, there are
Mhm.
people who need shelter.
yeah,
But just like you have to weigh what's in your heart versus what you can do and what's safe for your family, it's a
Mhm.
very different action for each person. Like I said, some people are called to give their money. Some people are called to hit the streets and be in community with people. Some people are called to educate others, like we're doing right now, on some of the
Mhm.
topics that get muddied in the media, um, and to encourage people to take action. So you're right. That bravery, in whatever form, Elmer, is definitely required if you know if it's your calling.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Mhm.
Now let me ask this: are like are they still accepting paperwork for people who are trying to be citizens? I mean, I don't I haven't looked that up or anything like that. Or
I don't know.
like is that on pause? You know
So
what I mean? Like what's
so
going on with that?
no, so a lot of the programs that have always existed have been terminated by executive order. For example,
The diversity,
today,
equity, inclusion is
yeah,
that the
uh,
DEI stuff, or is that part of that?
no,
Or
that's separate. So, for example, today I learned that the U visa was canceled. You know the U visa, right, Tara? Where if you are victim of a crime, if you're an illegal immigrant and you're victim of a crime, and you that person gets arrested and is convicted, but that you would qualify for a legal status that has been terminated. What Bawa has been terminated today. They're
I
making
know
it very
that.
hard for you to get visa. They're denying visas. Everything's complicated. Basically, you have almost 1% chance to get an approval nowadays.
And just so that if folks are listening, VAWA stands for Violence Against Women Act, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's very broad. Some of it applies to immigration. Some of it applies to housing
Yeah.
for people
Yeah.
that
Oh
aren't
yeah,
even
yeah.
on
That's
the
such a, yeah.
immigrant. You know,
Well,
like
that was
people can
terminated
get.
today.
Wow. And so and to your point, like we were saying before, finding one or two topics to focus on. The other topic, the three I'm really is this immigration, women, and the LGBT. And so it's really flooring that, again, there's also an anti-woman, anti-choice agenda,
Yeah.
even protection for violence against women.
Mm-hmm.
It's jarring.
Yeah, big time.
So it's
Land of
literally,
opportunity isn't a land of opportunity anymore, is
so
it?
today, we have talked a lot about.
Jesus.
I think the main focus was on immigration today, but American citizens are being affected by everything that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe
If
not,
you might not.
maybe not
Yep.
at the moment, but
Yep.
down the road,
Oh yeah.
they're going to be affected. Even people that voted for this gentleman, are going to be affected, and I'm not sure
who?
a lot of them already are.
For this gentle what?
You know, I'm sure there's already a lot of them that are already probably like regretting their vote.
I
Yeah,
hope
what did I
so.
do?
I freaking
Yeah.
hope so. I hope they regret
Like,
it.
oh shit, we fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
A little too late now.
Yeah.
It's been-
Buckle
buckle up.
there was somebody back. His name was Dietrich Bonhoeffer. I believe he's the one who originally coined the statement. First they came for the communists, then they came for the Jews, and then they came for this group, and then they came for that group. And by the time they came for me, there was no one left to speak for me.
Oh
Because
yeah.
it said, first I came for the Jews, I didn't speak up. First
I
they
didn't
came
speak
for
up.
then they came for this. And that's the thing. Some people think that they're going to be staying insulated from this.
No.
One way or another is going to affect you.
Yeah.
You, someone you love. I mean,
It's gonna suck.
it does suck.
Unbelievable.
It does.
Unbelievable.
It's pretty sad. But at the end of the day, we got to stay strong because that's what they
Yep.
want to do. First
For
of all,
sure.
they want us to be super scared, panic, because what happens when you lose control?
Mm-hmm.
You fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to stay vigilant. Got to keep praying. Got to keep our hopes up, and we got to speak up. That's what Bernie Sanders said a couple of days ago, I think, or yesterday.
He's still alive, Bernie Sanders?
Bro, this man looks. This man looks strong.
This guy's batteries, man. God,
He made a video. He spoke about maybe 20 minutes, something like that. I don't know. I didn't watch the entire thing, but this man is going strong, man. Very smart guy. This is the man we need for president. We need someone like Bernie Sanders. He is for every American.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, that will never happen. That's unfortunate.
Well, I mean, not anymore.
This guy that would, that's all. It's about the U.S., and it's about progression and moving forward and yada yada yada. It's almost like the whole, Kamala thing. Is, you had the chance, and it just wasn't enough, man. It's crazy.
I think I don't want to put that in a box because ideas don't die. So this is why we talk, right? This is why we talk, we learn, we read, we write, we share. So it may or may not be the end for Bernie or Kamala, but they paved way the progressive.
They're paving the way. Yes.
And you know, in our lifetime, we were able to see 2 women run for the presidency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
One of them's got to. One of them. Somebody's got to take it.
interestingly, they both ran against Trump.
Yeah.
So, naturally, by effect of that, we are now seeing it's all been exploited and come up out of the mud. How divided we are as a country.
Yeah.
I believe a woman can do a man's job, you know, or we people chose this.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh, people chose this over a capable female president. So, you know, but that said, I still have hope that we're still moving the needle. We saw the first.
I hope I get to see it in my lifetime.
Yeah.
In our lifetime. I hope that someday. I thought it was going to be now, but you know, unfortunately.
I know.
But I do hope, you know, we get to see it. You know, just like we get to see some women at the pick and pull working hard. You know, taking parts out of cars and whatever. They'll work hard enough to, you know, to hold office. You know. And move the country forward, man. You know, why not? You know, that's the country's built on diversity, man. It was built on it. We have to see diverse. You know,
it's funny because it is diverse. Like there's no getting away from that. Like unless you're forcing it out. Like there's no, you know, diversity is.
Yeah.
The work isn't being equitable. The work is in bringing people in and being inclusive. And the fact that there is such a war against that right now tells a lot of the story.
It's like it's never moved forward. It's almost like it was behind the scenes, you know, moving with whatever we thought was changing, and then it just came right out. You know, it's like, no, not yet. You know, we're not ready for that yet. You know, it was like hiding behind the scenes somehow, and we just never saw it. We've been ready.
We are. You know, I mean, look at this. Look at the way these past few decades, civil rights. I mean, there's so many things we can point to. It's just there is a massive force against any of that happening, and that's what we need to resist.
Yeah, for
sure. No, not
Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman in an interview years ago said, I guess they asked him the topic of racism and the past and Rosa Parks and, you know, all this history, and he's like, the only way we move forward is when we stop mentioning it, bringing it up over and over and over. We're keeping that alive somehow. He's like, we need to learn how to.
I don't know if that was Morgan Freeman saying that, but
no, it was Morgan. No, but and he was saying it in a way that, you know, we're not forgetting history. You know, the history is already there. We it's gonna be there. But why do we have to, you know, keep talking about division? That's what he was emphasizing. You know what I mean?
Well,
this country this country always finds a way, you know, to find his way back to that stuff. You know, we're talking about, you know, moving forward and stuff, but yet we elect a president that is not about that stuff. You know, it's like
half of us did.
A little more than half, because he got it. But he got it.
Tiny bit, seriously.
But it's a little more than half. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, though. What I'm trying to say is, yeah, okay, that stuff should move us in a direction where we need to move on. We need to move forward. We need to find ways to not be back there, you know. And that's exactly what he was trying to say. That if you keep bringing this stuff up and we keep bringing life to this in a negative way, we're not going to move forward. You know, we're still going to be stuck in those times, and you know, we're not going to see the changes that we want. You know.
Well, I can't speak for Morgan Freeman, but this is why I don't tout celebrities as my faves or not, or really care much about what they say, because it's a whole different group of people. But I vehemently disagree with the sentiment that we shouldn't keep bringing things like Rosa Parks and any struggle, women's suffrage.
We need to teach that stuff.
Yeah, this is the only way we
Yeah.
fight, man. What if
No, I
if
understand.
could tell my daughter about what it took for women to vote in this
Yes.
country, and Black women even later than white
Mhm.
women
Mhm.
in this country, how would she know the story? And how
Yeah.
would she know what to her rebuttal in the
Mhm.
face of all this massive
Mhm.
stuff coming against her as a female, or her as a this or that? You know, half of her heritage is Cape Verdean. Like there are
Mhm.
there's so much wrapped in us that we need to keep talking about. We need to keep
Mhm.
talking about the bravery, like the minister you said. So I'm
Yep.
sorry, Morgan Freeman. I love you to death, but I
Yeah,
hope
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
we still gonna talk about this
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
All right. So, guys, this has been a great show. We definitely, like I said in the beginning of the show, we could stay here for hours. I mean, there's so much to talk about.
Mhm.
Tara, I definitely appreciate you coming in the show.
Yay,
Hopefully, this is not going to be the last time.
yeah, thank you.
I
Appreciate
like the fact that you say yes right away. Let's do it. So, trust me, I
Definitely
appreciate
fun.
that a lot.
it. Aaron, let's go.
Mhm.
You gave us lots of valuable information, and maybe we'll make some clips out of this, and we can keep posting them. Like small reels of the best parts of
Mhm.
the show. So definitely thank you. I appreciate it.
To you guys,
Um,
appreciate it.
Mr. Diaz, it's always nice to see you, man. Nice talking to you,
Yes,
bro.
sir. Tara, it
And
was nice meeting you.
It was awesome meeting you too.
all right,
Yeah.
thank you guys, and hope you guys have a great night. Don't forget, like and share. Follow us on our page, Entre Amigos Podcast. We'll see you guys again. Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.